All right, so to kick this thing off, we've got this fellow. Now, what you can see is there's about 2,000 nice small parts, and there's these fairings with nothing inside them. When we launch this, KSP has no idea what to do, and so, kapow! This is 2,000 completely separate parts, all getting flung through the air, and KSP is handling it just fine. Now, I'm running this on a laptop, so what I've done is in post I've sped this up by 4 times so that you guys don't have to bear through quite the lag that I did. But, I mean, as far as the mechanics of things flinging through the air, it all seems to be working great. This has always been one of my favorite things to do, just because it's relatively easy to set up, and you can see there's quite the pow. All right, well, moving on from that, I was hoping to get some bugs with having things move themselves outside of KSP's physics zone. Each of these is actually a little Mark II drone core. They can move on their own. The only problem is, as soon as you let go of them, they don't typically want to. So there's a glitch I call the Simon Says glitch. I have some rather nastier terms for it too. But what you do is you set up the trim, which you just saw right there. You release them, and if you still have that trim set, then when you tell little Jeb here to walk forward, hey, Simon says go forward, they all go forward too. And Simon says stop, and they all stop, and then they all start going again. You can see whenever Jeb decides to move, they do too. It's actually kind of a silly little glitch that you'll get. We could be doing this with Jeb inside the cockpit too. I just love the looks of having him standing out there like he's orchestrating to them or something like that. Simon says stop, and they all stop. It's actually a little creepy when they start moving here again. Let's see. Ooh, send shivers down my spine. I called this the second plague, I think, for good reason. They look like the bunch of frogs all slithering around. One cool glitch that does appear from this is I don't know what to call it, Mirage KSP? KSC, let's go for it. Anyways, as long as one of the parts is spinning and there's enough parts on the screen that are spinning around, it all kind of goes eerily spinny like that. You can actually see the ocean down below. It's the ocean beneath the terrain. Parts do fall into the ocean beneath the terrain, by the way, if you switch between these correctly. And there it is dancing. I'm sad I didn't catch any of those. So I got a Hellkraken with this particular ship during my initial testing phase, but I couldn't seem to get it to happen during recording, which is too bad. Let's watch him run amok anyways. Ah, there they go. Ah, that's a hoot. So this is all fine and fun on the ground, but let's send them flying. This is the same glitch going on right here, except in this case, we actually have a squadron of little planes. You can see they'll all turn and do everything in unison, and the hope here was, I don't know, maybe KSP would get freaked out or wouldn't let me save correctly. All the saves work great. All these things work great. I think these are all at 4x speed up as well, just because otherwise it's a little painfully slow to watch. Oh, just look at how they bank like that. I launched the first set into KSC for no particularly good reason. These ones, what you'll see is they'll actually bank down a little bit, so I have them all bank down. I'm not bank down, they all pitch down in unison. They get really close to the ground, flip it over, and pitch back up, so they go over the berm. I think that's great. So, yeah, you can have your own little squadrons flying by doing that. Again, it's just with a trim. And at the end here, let's dive bomb into the ground. Let's finish this Kerbal style. So I left the sound out because my my post-editing software can't do that and speed up at the same time. So, you know, it's Kerbal Space Program, so if it works, you know, put on more rockets, and if it didn't work, put on more rockets too. And this is more rockets doing the same thing. I wanted to see if putting in those larger and definitely more graphics-intensive solid rockets boosters would do anything. And they're very pretty. Look at that. It's like a firework. So you just kind of launch them up and then start curving around, and you can see them all spinning in circles. I like that. I tried this a few times because I was convinced I was going to be able to get something to happen, but nothing ever did. You can just enjoy it, though. Ooh. I love that. There's also kind of a rugby smash that you get just on their way up. Ah, look at him go. So you can see there's a lot of little smoke effects that follow these things around. And that is actually going to be the topic of our next craft coming up here. There they go. I love how they just kind of curl in a little sphere. There it is, the next craft. So this is absolutely to make smoke. That is its purpose in life. You can see that there's little fleas on the bottom. Those fleas, due to a offset glitch, will actually send their flames straight through the hammers on top of them. And all these thumpers all the way on top, they don't care one whit about being lit on fire. So they are all fine in this huge whoo flaming pile. Now, my computer slows down to a total crawl with the larger versions of this, so I made a smaller one. You can see what I'm doing there is I'm speeding it up to Rails time warp, and that'll actually make it so that the so KSP stops doing any of the fire animations and just does the smoke animations. I figure the smoke animations are going to be the most GPU intensive things KSP can do, basically. So I tried to make as many as possible. One cute little thing is when you come back from the, if you quick save and reload, you get that cool little warm up. Surprise! Kaboom! I found this one out by accident, and I think I'm going to be playing with it a little more next week. So we're just kind of exploding some little solar panels there. We're going to go to the sun, and we're going to use those solar panels while literally touching the chromosphere. I couldn't help but putting in a little launching montage. So touching the chromosphere, pretty lethal normally, I gotta say. But there's this cute little trick. You just keep facing the sun exactly like this, and you have to have this very particular setup. This is all no cheats stock. And you can see in there, oh, let's look inside. There's all the batteries. These are all empty batteries, by the way. I'll explain how it works in a moment. All empty batteries. And we're going to open up the solar panels. They're all bound to the same thing, and it's going to fill instantly. Bonk! And nothing ends the world. Take a look at that energy flow. Actually, the energy flow through the solar panels is the same as all of Kerbin will feel. So, yeah, that's pretty big. Nice big solid angle on that one. So you might be wondering why poor little Bob in there isn't automatically igniting. Oh, by the way, if you wanted some explosions, things that get too far away will explode. So you can see the new heat shield in there, and that has something called a bounds multiplier on it, and pow! I love it. The bounds multiplier, as far as I understand, just gives it a bigger bound for where it absorbs the light, where it casts shadows, and where it actually sucks in the heat is still where it normally is. Doesn't that look cool coming back in? I like that. So as long as you set up things correctly with batteries and this in the right place, you wind up making something that protects itself from the sun, as long as it's pointing straight down. You can see it kind of gets a little warm there. Now, some days, the sun has a lot of nice texture on it. It's actually very, very pretty from this close. And on the inside, cute little Easter egg, what you can see is it's the sun from version 0.1. Oh, it's back.